To all the star seeds, angels on the battlefront, intergalactic citizens, the time is now. It's time to wake up. It's time to get it crack-a-lack, you know what I'm saying? Star seeds, all in together now. Baby. The gatekeeper, you know what I'm saying? The gate codes, ascension, it's here. It's right now. Baby. Yeah. Time to activate. Star seeds. Understand. This is you. What? It's like that. Come on. Time to activate. To all my angels in the house. What? So where my star seeds at? Come on. It's Arcturian on the rear. Let's get together. Unite. One mind. One planet. The entire race. It's time to get it up. Activate. Elevate. Baby. One. Arcturian Council in full effect. It's like that, y'all.
Whoa, star seeds of all ages and everybody right now. What if isn't me, Arcturus Ra, bringing it back for you to step into your own I've got the power! You know what I'm saying? This is about quantum communication. Meaning, it's in the water, y'all. Truth is in the water, y'all. It can't get no broader, y'all. Understand this. I'm kind of bored of y'all. Trying to give me whatever the rhetoric. Don't know what rhetoric is. I'm going here changing, switching, or rearranging the program. Damn. Where you find this, son? Well, son of the born, and so on. I'm the one. Till the infinity, and I'm gone. Now check it out. Real simple. Quantum physics. The information that is stored in your body has to do with the cells. But what is the main carrier in your cells? What's the main carrier in your body for everything that's happening right now? And I'll say it, there's been proof, and there will be more proof. It's the water. I suggest you watch the movie Water, The Great Mystery. You listen to people that talk about water. I found a very interesting interview by a guy named David Sarita that inspired me very much to go back to what I'm actually talking about, and that is, as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to your water molecules. I'm talking to the cluster spirits in your water. Then I looked at the aspects, reading many reports from the past of people. What does psychoactive mean? What does psychedelic mean? And I'm not recommending you to do anything. This is an observation for entertainment purpose only. Stay within things that are legal. Be at peace. Be peaceful. Evaluate information, and then as scientist and controlled, we work with that. So let's say what science has overlooked is when you are psychoactive, you have to understand is you are drugs. External, really not necessary. What's necessary is an environmental stimuli that can release the pineal gates so you can be flooded with DMT, dimethyltryptamine. You have endorphins. You have dopamine. Women have serotonin. You have tryptamine. Sounds funny, but that's what it's called, tryptamine. And many, many other substances that baffle science, that gets your brain synchronized, fired up, and evolution can take place. Why that is, we yet have to study. Science can allow itself to understand. Where science is or was stuck, in my observation, is if you do an experiment that is controlled and predictable, you're not in the original field. You're looping. That means you're behind, actually, with what's going on because you're not open to what's happening around you. An experiment that you can repeat that will always show you the same results. And I know it's going to be a controversial video, and some people will post this and that. Here's what I want to say. If gravity shows you, this, and that happens every day, then your expectance level is set on that. So you begin to identify with that. But when I say, if you stop identifying with looped programs and experiments, you'll understand the quantum world. And I'm not talking about numbers. I'm talking about stuff that gave me visions, that will lead to another invention that will come up soon, that I will not disclose right now, but it is phenomenal. And step by step, I'm just putting the little pieces together. I feel in my heart that when clusters form in your water, as in a liquid crystal, and yes, I agree with Mr. Sarita that we are liquid crystals, and our power is kind of low. Liquid crystal batteries, and we're kind of like running on reserve here. You have to remember in Back to the Future, the speed that the vehicle had to have in order to jump timelines was 88 miles per hour. So if you want to go into avatar mode, psychoactive, Christ all consciousness, you need to have a certain speed within the cellular structure in the liquid crystalline form to activate and turn it on and be safe and have an impenetrable aura, something like Superman. Yes, that's why we have movies like Superman. That's why we have ancient tales like Jesus Christ, Horus, Pakalvotan, and all the others that are allegories now because they're not here. And we shouldn't believe that one being in the flesh will be here because it's not. Few of the gods have returned. Some of the people out there know who they are. Gods meaning as in knowing who they are, having total recall, and being almost ready to activate what needs to be activated. And what is being activated is gigantic and is ginormous for those who have inputs. Practice your automatic writing. It's in the water, y'all, I'm telling you. Practice the things that come into you, the languages, and teach that because the mission is to restore this planet and get it back online. I cannot focus on industry X, Y, Z. I can only focus on what is it that I can do to show that there can be something different. So that's what I'm doing. Not just words, not just theoretical, rhetorical blah 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 that has no application. That is useless. You can have all the tech and talk about the stargates and the groups, but if you can't walk in the field, detect nor feel a vortex, you got to go back to the basics and find out why is it that I don't see anything, why is it that I don't hear anything, and I don't feel anything. That has to do with here's what people, and especially the non-believers, don't expect to feel crystals if, let's say, your niobium levels in your blood are at a certain level. How can you access the rainbow body? Nobody looks at that. These books will be written. These things are where I have dreams about, that this is how it is. They're telling me, or better yet, my futuristic version tells me we have to look at the nuclear reservoir of an atom. Has infinite energy without having to split it or smash it. To smash things to bits in order to find information is a very crude and very pre-human way of observing nature. If you tap into the holistic principle of how that actually works, you have an opportunity to get much smarter. Here's something for the people that have always something to say that they hate. Here's this. And it's not easy to handle, but this is how this world is designed. First of all, you design your reality. You are creator, not just co-creator. You are creating a reality bubble. A friend of mine talks about the Grand Cherokee Jeep, and I see 25 of these Jeeps in town. You play GTA. Those who play PlayStation, remember, every time you pick a car, the same car pops up on every corner because the computer renders an algorithm, that kind of matches the car that you're driving. Now, it's a holographic construct where you pick an avatar that you play a simulation world where everything is a simulation and runs on programs. Now, how is that when you put your mind or you focus the attention to an object that is common? Make it easy for the universe to approach you. It appears left and right because you are controlling it. You are running it. And I want you to wake up and take back the power that you are ultimately the creator of your reality. Wherever you go, however that is. You can't change people. That is correct. But you have the opportunity to change the perspectives within yourself. When Michael Jackson talks about man in the mirror, well, listen to the lyrics. When he looks at the man in the mirror, he has the opportunity to say, I can't change the world, but I can make a difference within myself. I'm going to make it right. I can make it so something in me feels right and just. And it has to do with not free will. I can do what I want to do. And I'm here on a planet, and I conquer the world, and I take property. I slaughter people, celebrate this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And because I can do what I want to do. No, you cannot do what you want to do. It's by divine will. It's not by free will. It's what does heaven communicate? What does your highest aspect, as in the highest brain state, tell you what should be deemed wise to operate with or how? That is what we learn to follow. This is the intuition, which is the feminine aspect for female and male to bring back in and to integrate in life and look at what you're doing. And here's another thing in life as we relate to our environment. When you get bored, what does ego do? Ego designs a problem for you to get back into your body. A problem till you're snapped, till you realize, oh, I'm going the wrong path. This doesn't feel right. You don't have the short-term memory of a fly that bounces against the glass all the time. Short-term memory, of a certain fly, like the one that lives like a day. They found out it doesn't even have a brain. It's like 0.78 memory in this, like under a second, and then keeps forgetting. So it's constantly in the now. So you can train yourself by not referencing your memory with every new experience that you have, by open yourself, be an open and clear channel to the things that exist out there, to the things that are. That means every time you experience eating chocolate, it can be a brand new experience for you, because you can allow yourself to not store on your hard drive the memory of what that tasted like. If you want to know everything and you're not in the flow, guess what they found out with older people when they have these quizzes and these shows and they hit the button and they know the answer? Why is it that older people, as in the old paradigm, older people are slower than younger people? Because the hard drive is full. And the brain has to evaluate all the crap they learned in their time until they find a solution. And the young people don't have that. So, as you do what I do, you don't learn all of that stuff. You learn to let go very quick and not reference every freaking thing in the universe, but allowing yourself to make an experience in the now, pure, in that moment. Which brings me back to quantum communication. I believe that the storage is in the water. The cell somewhat is a transmitter that makes it sound like a membrane, but the membrane doesn't have the knowledge. It is the wave of the frequency that goes through the membrane that gives you the information. So it's called frequency modulation. And within the frequency modulation, you have to check out what is FM frequency modulation. Within that, you have two carrier waves going this way. I learned TV, VCR, computer tech, when I was younger, and sound engineering, so I know a lot about electronics and that stuff. So here's the deal. You have a carrier wave, and within the carrier wave is actually the material, which is the ultimate information. And maybe I put this in this video, maybe I put this in part 2, I believe that the information is in the water, and I believe is you have to look into information. It's like this. I believe our brain seeks information the way our brain is constructed. So we have emotional body, we have mental body, but it's all in a water body. Without the water body, no computer here, no functionality, malfunction, not even reception. You get it? Good. So here's the deal. We are seeking information in patterns that are actually symmetric. Because if we have something that is symmetric, however the pattern is translated, SETI or wherever, whatever you're trying to hear in the universe, wherever you have your feelers out, whatever you're trying to listen to. And I don't have a PhD, not a master's and whatnot, and I believe it's not necessary, because if you know, you know. You don't need nobody to certify who you are right now. So thank you for those that listen to me, and I hope I'm making sense. So I decided to look for symmetric information in the water. And I don't have a lab, but I have lab experience, and I know what to put together, and it can cost as much as $15, and I can show you stuff. So I took a water bucket, and I used ink, preferably a color that's visible. The water bucket in the light, so the light can hit the water bucket, and then I pour the water drop into the water bucket. And I know this is a world premiere, what I'm telling you right now, and everybody can do that at home. It looks like the Rorschach ink blood test, what they do in mental institution to find out, what do you see, what is your brain interpreting the things that you see in that Rorschach test. But here's the idea. I was like, the Rorschach is 2D. It's black and white, and then your brain just picks something that runs from a subroutine. I'm like, well, how about you go further with that? And I'm in the middle of the experiment. Like, give the water a frequency of 432. As the drop that comes from your hand comes from your water body. The bucket is in the proximity of your water body. Make sure it's undisturbed. Preferably have a room, security blankets, silver foil, so the light that your body emanates stays in a room, the information stays in a room, nobody can dilute that. Of course I'm observing it, of course I'm influencing it, fully aware of that. This is where my quantum communication comes in, and I find it mind-blowing. I took the first picture that I call Ra Incarnation, and put the drop in the bottle, and I watched the water drop unfold in the bucket. And I look at these clouds and these wave patterns, and I see this is the very subtle information of the universe right now in the water unfolding in front of me. But I can't fully see the information. I see bits and pieces in there. My brain is trying to I feel like my brain is trying to put something together here, but I can't put it together. And brainstorm, call it gamma burst, 176 hertz, occurring in my brain for a nanosecond, and there I have it, the idea. Why don't you split the image that you observe and mirror the image? Put some symmetry in the information that is before you, because it is actual fact. And you have to be slick to find it, because not all the time the water spirits, bless the water spirits, bless the quantum world, not all the time are they willing to communicate. Then you have to know how to interpret and how to pick that picture that makes sense. And there's a picture where I can say to you now what's in the picture and explain that to you. Or I put the picture in right now as an overlay as I speak. I give you some time. Now you look at it. Observe the picture. See what you see. I give you a few seconds to put it together. And then I want to see if you can confirm what you see. Go into it, see what you see. And now I'm beginning to explain to you what I saw in the picture, which I find phenomenal. I saw a guy that has his head leaned back, hands clearly up. He looks upward. In his throat is a fish. You go deeper, you even see an image of Jesus with a cross. All the archetypical programs are running. A projection comes out of a high beam of a being that looks kind of like Star Wars over his head. You see an owl flying over the guy, then you see something like a Ganesh type figure that sits in a meditative state, looks extraterrestrial, Ganesh type mix, and many, many, many more images within that image. Basically, I can also confirm that the book Awakening of the Overself by J.J. Hurtak shows how you stand here, then your higher self comes in, your Elohistic self, like the pictures and the pictorial images that he has to look at how we are, how spirit goes into infinite layers and forms and lines connecting to the source. I can see it in the water. I took another picture, another reference, where Lord and behold, and this time I'm giving it away, I see pyramidal structures. Pyramids that actually we can build in 3D. So what I'm learning now, that objects that I build, I basically get from the ether with that technique. And if there's enough space, I'll try to do that. If not, it will be a part 2. Show you an animation of water mirrored as ink unfolds in the water bucket for you to see there's information in there. And the information can differ. You know, I told a guy that looked at an image and he was like, yeah, I see evil spirits and this and that, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, give me an information of a time where you remember you felt good. You know, and I took him back and he said, yeah, I was at the ocean and the weather was perfect and I was with my girl and I felt lovely. And I said, now look at the image. And he was like, I see angels, I see fish flying, I see the waters, I see mermaids. This is the world that you design and you create, and you change the image as you change the perception looking at it. And as you look at these water images, I'm sorry for the helicopter, you see yourself. This here is yourself. That's all there is. And let me see, this is quite distracting and disturbing too. Losing train of thought here. See, that's how sensitive that thread is that I'm running. The idea is for you to understand, very, very important as I close the next chapter. When you post negative stuff, whether it's in email, you criticize, when you go negative, you're attracting positive ions that create decay, stuff that's rotten. You age, you're dying. So even if you leave something critical and fire in a negative way, you're damaging yourself. And here's the deal. Now, let's say Earth has 2 grids right now, and you have to make a choice. There's a grid with negative information that feeds off fear, criticism, anger, hate, jealousy, envy, all of that stuff. They feed off that, and it's like a radar. You're on their radar. Let's say, and you're all powerful angels. The minute you are enraged, you're in hate, jealousy, envy, all of these things that upset the water body in you, you on their grid, you playing their draconian game, and they feed off you, and they need you to be there with everything that's being projected and being created. And I'm saying this shows you that you have the opportunity to be at peace, not to ignore the facts that are around you, but be at peace, be in bliss, and you're no longer in that Nephilim fallen angel grid of things that do not work. And understand in life where you are. There are things that work, there are things that do not work. Take heed, feel yourself, see where there's flow, and see where there's stagnation. And make a choice for yourself. Where do you want to be at the end of the day? You want to criticize and crucify, because all we have observed that we can crucify are holy ones. We can kill, you know, in the medieval times, all the women that had healing powers. We are very quick to dismiss that and say this is this and this is that and this is this. Right now, allow yourself for an open communication with spirit. Take back the power. Be yourself. Integrate male and female within you, and love yourself more, and be where you're loved. Do not be where you're not wanted. And always communicate. If there's something that you feel, don't tuck it. Somebody makes you upset, you're allowed to communicate. But have discipline to do that. Be right and just and in your divine power. And therefore, this is up to you to make a choice to open your senses. Namaste. Here we go!